Welcome to thestockminer.com. I'm Brian Johnson, and we finally had another bearish day in the markets. This one was very strong again. So, had a week that just rolled upwards and upwards and upwards, especially on the Dow, and then today finally the Dow rolled over along with all the other indices. Surprisingly enough, though, the Dow, which is usually the weaker of the indices, ended up still being the stronger of the indices today. Not down as much as the rest of the markets. NASDAQ getting crushed today, all after a slow bleeding run up. Quickly erased. This is the power of the bears, power of the bear moves. I'm going to say quickly, I talked about it and said that when this thing turns around, I really feel it could be violent. You could see a lot of candles being wiped out in one fell swoop. This was a taste of what can happen in a bear market if you do not understand puts, if you don't know how to short the market. Let me once again remind you of the mentoring courses. It can really, really make a huge difference in your trading overall. So you can continue to, kind of guess at this or guess at that. Or maybe some of you are nothing but longer term investors where you just want to buy and hold. But, how nice would it be to be able to get out of some of your investments up near the top? You'll never call the top, but up near the top, and then get back into them after the pullback has happened. Not only can you get back in at a lower price, but you can then buy more shares as it runs its way back up again. That's ultimately the best way to make money in these markets, especially when if you go back 10, 12, 15 years, it's just choppy sideways type action. That is really about the only way to make a lot of money. So if you've been holding for 15, 20 years, you may or may not be all that much further along than you were 10, 20 years ago. It might look like your portfolio is up, but remember, you've been contributing to it that entire time as well. So if you take away all your contributions, where are you left? What have you really gained? These bear moves are a great opportunity to A, protect yourself for a while, or B, learn how to short, learn how to buy puts, whatever it might be in the market, and not only make money on the way up, but make money on the way down. A lot of people are brainwashed today to think that the only way to make money in the market is when it goes up, and that is just not true. You make way more money faster on the way down. And it's a heck of a lot more fun. I promise you, for those of you that are bulls, you get into one bear move, one big strong bear move, and I promise you, you won't be as bullish anymore. You'll love the bear side just as much as you'll love the bull side. It's a lot of fun to play because of the fact that you make money so fast. And here was a good example today. We started to bleed out today. We got right below. Look, we were hanging on that 20. And then once we broke it, it was off to the races all day. Back down to the 50 and then straight through there as well. It really didn't rest much. Once it started this acceleration in that first about half an hour of the day, it was off to the races all day long. So these levels, once they gave way, led to heavy selling. Internals looked good. Everything was looking fine. This was really a pretty simple day to trade. Once you got the break below some of these support levels, it was off to the races. Even if you waited till it got down here, you still did very well. Market pretty much finishing on its lows today. Going back, though, to the daily, you'll see we're just now starting to come back and what? Yeah, test that 20-day, finally. But point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, let's give it 5 days here. Last 5 days worth of trading, gone. 1 day. I'll be honest. I didn't expect maybe such a big move. I was not going to be surprised at a bear move today on a Friday because we'd been up all week long, but not to maybe this magnitude. This was very strong today, coming all the way back and almost testing that 20. Still watching for breaks below that in these indices, but a lot of the other ones broke it. So here we are, right back here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of trading, gone, wiped out in one move. So what we need now is, are the bulls going to buy the dips? Same question, same thing we've been wondering on all of these moves right here. We need confirmation, and I'm really looking at these 20s to give it to us. Let's take a look at the other markets and see what they told us. NASDAQ way down today, falling right back into the 200 here and this lower support area, and look how well this held. The magic lines. So you can see how well that works. When you know where to draw them, you have a great idea at targets. Now, I'm not big on shorting the NASDAQ, but I know a lot of you do like to play the Qs, and you'll play it up or down. So make any difference. Today, the Qs, very, very strong to the downside. So definitely opportunity here if you wanted to short it below any one of these lower levels that we have. Can you see? You have these lines drawn in, and they hold very well, giving you good price targets on your trades, allowing you to manage it maybe a little bit better. And here is the big one right here. Not only a break, but finally another close below the 20. I made mention back here as we moved up. I'm really watching for tests of the 20 because I didn't feel that if we had another test of the 20, it would hold. I didn't think it would hold the next time. Sure enough, here's another test of the 20. No hold, not even close. Blew right through that thing and finished way down here again. So now, confirmation? Oh, maybe we see it dwindle back up, but if there's any sort of bullishness that comes in early next week, I want to see it hold below the 20-day. That's ultimately what I'm waiting for. Otherwise, further pushes to the downside, we're looking at another 40, 50 points right down here into the 50. That's really the next heavier level of support. NASDAQ weekly as well came up with this nice big, maybe you want to call it a gravestone doji? Okay, I'll let you do that. Point being, it came all the way back from where it was, way up here towards the top. All the weekly candles look different in one day. This is why it's so hard to talk about weeklies, even into Wednesday, Thursday, because anything can happen by the end of the week. So now that it's done, let's talk about it. The fact is, right back down again in the NASDAQ. Now, bigger picture, yes, very bearish day, but man, we still got some work to do. Still got some work to do on the NASDAQ and the rest of the indices anyway, in the bigger pictures. SPX 60-minute also tumbling very hard, finding a little bit of rest right here, and then at the end of the day, plop, coming right down here into lower levels. This one ended up in limbo, didn't really reach the 200, didn't really come back into really, quite honestly, no real levels of support back in here. It just kind of got stuck in the middle of it all. What it was really struggling with, though, was the 20. It hung out there for a long time before finally at the end of the day, plop, falling right through. It stayed right on it for the longest time, and then finishing not only below it, but then closing below it, and that's really what I'm looking at. Once again, I said retests of the 20. I just didn't feel like it would hold. They didn't. So very, very nicely done by the bears today. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, almost 6, we'll call it 5 for sure, days wiped out in one fell swoop. We get a good hard pullback, and this is what to expect. So once again, a lot of decent profits to be made, and this is really, once again, I don't want to say easy, but it's simple. When you know where to get in, when you know where your entries are at, this type of trading is easy because it runs and runs and runs and runs and runs after you get in. And it's pretty easy to stay into a position when it runs hard. What's difficult is when you get in and it goes up and then down and then up and then down and then up a little bit and then down a little bit. And then you start to panic and you wonder. But these bearish days, when they're strong, when you get a good, strong, trending day to the downside, there's just no doubt. Once you get in, it just keeps going and going and going, and you're like, oh yeah, pretty comfortable with this. So then it's just a matter of managing it, knowing when to get out to increase your profits. Not just about taking profits, it's about getting the most out of your trades. And that is something we really, really work on in the classes. But here it is, big move to the downside. If you can't short, you're missing out on half the battle. That's like being able to play offense but no defense. You're going to struggle. At the end of the week, here you go. Another little red candle down after that nice move. I'm surprised. I thought maybe we'd just kind of tag around sideways and then Monday do the same type of thing into the end of the month. 'Twas not to be. So the weekly candle shows us still some bears lingering around out there. I'm not real pleased with what I saw on the volume for the week, but volume for the day looked very, very nice. So looking for some more of that into next week, or at least into the next 2 weeks. And look what the VIX did. This is precisely what we needed. This is what I've been looking for. The VIX spiked hard today. We did get above 19 and into the 20 mark. Okay, now you have my attention. So looking for confirmation on this, but this is precisely what you want to see out of the VIX. Just what you want to see out of the VIX. So for all you options traders, you should be happy with that. By the end of the week, too, finally closing over and above that 20-week moving average. Didn't look like we were going to do it in any shape or form, but today the VIX up 8.5%. Makes you wonder, Makes you wonder what may be looming on the horizon that we just haven't found out about. Not uncommon, of course, for the big money to know exactly what's going on and for us to not find out about it until the day of. So let's wait and see if we get any kind of follow through next week. And they're going to blame it on whatever, probably Egypt. I saw a big thing on Egypt. So the news might want to blame it on Egypt today, but I'm not so sure that there's not something bigger coming down the pipe. Once again, wait for confirmation next week. Talk more about it in the weekend video. Apple 60-minute also continued to drop out today. $7. Very, very hard for stocks to hold up when the market's as strong to the downside as it was today. So here we go. Back below the 20-day moving average. I didn't like it getting below 342, 340. I didn't like it getting back into the 335 area, and you saw it dip below it for just a second, but recover. However, not enough to recover above the 20-day moving average. That is not so good for Apple. I want to be watching that very closely into next week. Apple then, look, held that overhead blue line. Gotta love it. So I'm very sold on the blue line now. Now I really like it. After this week and after what we've seen from the markets, I really like this overhead blue line as your overhead resistance area, and it held beautifully. Now, for those of you that like to spec short stuff, I'm not a big shorter of Apple, but this is the place to do it. I talked about it before. I'll talk about it again. When your lines are in the right place, at least it gives you an idea of where to take speculative, contrarian moves. You don't just arbitrarily get short Apple. It doesn't work that way. Yes, there's a potential to make money short in Apple, but you don't just arbitrarily get in. You got to have a plan. And in order to have a plan, you have to know what you're doing and where to put your lines in order to make that plan. So important. Be careful with your money. FAS then, of course, falling out of bed today, way below this 30.50 mark we saw yesterday. Not bad for trading yesterday. Today, all the way back down where? Not breaking that 29 area. That'll still be my area next week. So the financials not doing all that well. You can see the push up today, finally getting above these blue lines. Talked about a couple of different entry points that, okay, yeah, maybe I'd look into something like that. And one of them was above the 20-day. We didn't really get much above it. 873, we're at 879. So let's wait till next week to see if we get any follow-through. But I'm telling you, I'm going to like these levels up here as we push forward. Okay, that'll do it for today's video. Not going to dwell too much on things. It looked to be a very good, strong, bullish week. And then today, not so much. Bears rolled in. Everybody ran for cover. So a nice start again by the Bears, but I'm telling you, I'm only cautiously optimistic for the Bears at this point. Been burned too many times. Been there, done that. Let's wait till next week. Don't get too involved. If you're short the market right now, you want to be careful coming into Monday with any kind of positions that you might have. If you're short from up here, great. You're in good shape. You're in very good shape. If you're short from the end of the day because you panicked and decided to jump in with everybody else and now you're going, what do I do? Well, shame on you. Probably not something I would want to hold over the weekend. Hopefully though, it pays off. We need some bearishness in the market. We need it to pull back. It's only healthy. It's not only healthy for the markets, it's healthy for the bulls that it pull back. I know, sounds crazy, but it is. It's healthy if this thing pulls back for the bulls. All right, so we'll wait and see what we get. I'll be back with you again on Sunday. Have a great weekend. We've had some wonderful weather here, so I'm loving it. Loving it. So you guys enjoy yourself, and we'll see you again on Sunday.